Hi, Sam.
Hi, Rose. Today we're going to talk about loss. Everyone's suffered from loss at some time in their lives. We all know what it's like to lose something. It could be a job, a house, a relationship, or a friend. Dying is just the final and ultimate loss of life.
Yeah. I mean, the death of someone close to us can make us feel really isolated from the rest of the world. It sort of feels like, no one understands you. It's a very lonely place to be. And of course, often you'll find that no one wants to mention the loss, mentions that someone's died for fear of upsetting. This is what you hear. Oh, you don't want to upset them. But the reality is that you avoid saying that because you don't want to upset yourself. We often just we shy away from these conversations because it upsets us too much and we don't know what to say.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. Just best like the best approach I feel like we should have is just to be there in really practical ways if we don't know what to say. And more importantly, allow openness for them to talk about their loss, that they can cry or laugh or reminisce or tell the same story over and over again if that's what they
Oh,
need.
yeah, tell the same story. I know for myself, my personal experience of that uh, is it's really powerful to for the people around me to allow me to tell stories about uh, my love that I lost, um, because it keeps him alive, and it means that he's not forgotten. And like who would want to be forgotten, and who would want to allow someone to be forgotten? So um, to let people to speak the name of the person they've lost, and allow them to just tell their stories and express themselves the way they want to. It's a really powerful gift that you're giving to someone who's lost somebody. And you don't have to do anything, just like in a way, get over however it makes you feel. But I think the more often you allow this, you realize that it's not uncomfortable. It's something to be celebrated, and as I said, it's such a great gift to give to somebody else, to allow them to talk and just to to remember. You don't have to be a counselor or anything. You just have to give that space in a non-judgmental way and say, tell me about, like, what a powerful thing to just sit down and say, tell me about what it was like for you when you did this, or how did you meet? Or yeah, it's
Yeah.
a massive thing because people in who are carrying a loss, um, there's a whole that whole part of themselves is just goes unexpressed,
Yeah.
and so it's a really important thing to remember that loss needs to be expressed.
Yeah. To be able to listen is such a skill in itself, isn't it?
Mm,
To be present and to be there.
yeah.
Um, and I think we have to look after ourselves as well as healthcare workers. It's normal to feel loss and need support when you work in the healthcare industry. The
Mm,
connections, especially made working in aged care, can be so varied and meaningful. And therefore, the loss that we feel when somebody dies within residential aged care is so valid and can present itself or express itself on a very broad spectrum and look quite different.
yeah, yeah, and I think we do need to validate the loss that we might experience when we lose a resident or a patient. It's valid. Just because you're not family, we shouldn't ever devalue it for ourselves or for our colleagues. We don't know how these things can affect um, ourselves and others. And we also are dealing with a lot of uh, like we latch on to identifying, oh, this guy reminds me of my dad, or I've just been through all this with my mother and now I've got to look after people in the nursing home, and whatever it is, don't ever judge whatever someone else is going through, and give yourself self-compassion about how you're feeling about the loss of residents as well.
Quite true. Thanks so much, Rose.
Thank you. So we hope you've learned something today. If you have any questions, we encourage you to look further at some of the resources listed in the description for this video.
You can go onto the HRPCC website for more help, and you can call or email either of us if you want to have a chat.